morning. For those of you that are regular attendees of my 9 a.m. Facebook Live, I apologize that I'm starting a few minutes late today. Today's my birthday, and I was just taking a really nice bath and enjoying my morning, and then all of a sudden I was late. But maybe you heard my spiel in one of my past classes about how a yogi is never late. And I truly believe that we're always on time, and maybe there's someone who wouldn't have caught this Facebook Live if I started on time. So here we are. And that's part of the reason that I start around 9 and I'll chat for the first 10 or 15 minutes. And then we actually start the class closer to 9:15. So it's a 75-minute live, but about a 60-minute class. And that just gives us some time to drop in. People can join the class. You can grab your yoga mat, grab a couple of pillows if you have them, or yoga blocks, grab a blanket. Thank you all so much for joining me. If anyone has any special requests, go ahead and type those in the comments. The last class, I got a request to stretch everything and no power moves. And I loved it, so we did it. And we did some self-massage. And maybe some days I get requests to do abs, and we'll do those too. And I'm here for you. So if you're planning on staying for the whole class and you have some special requests, please write them in. So today is my birthday, and I spent some time yesterday in contemplation. We also had a Scorpio full moon, which just really felt strong, connecting in with my birthday. I had a lot of emotions come up. Some of you know I've been in a coaching program that's really intense, and we're uncovering some of our subconscious belief systems and reprogramming them. And it's interesting because in this coaching program, when we reprogram a belief system, when we start to do that process, the belief system itself starts to freak out. And you've maybe experienced this when you're wanting to make a big change in your life and you have a lot of fear come up. What our approach is that it's not you that is fearful, but it is your belief system that is afraid because it doesn't know what it's going to turn into. That's what my coach says. So this is just a profound program, and I've been sharing it with the individuals that I coach as well. And it's a way of rewriting your subconscious programming. And so when we talk about subconscious programming, we're basically talking about our childhood. So I thought today it would be fun to share a little bit of my story for this kind of lead in here. And yeah, I'm just going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to start from the very beginning. So I was born on May 8th, and I was born with a host of different issues. My left leg was bent backwards over my head, and actually the tendons were formed incorrectly, so when I would flex my leg, it actually would bend back towards me. Insert yoga teacher joke here. But needless to say, it was a traumatic experience. Not that I fully remember it, but I have kind of always had this feeling of having crash landed onto this planet. And so they had to take my leg and dislocate it. My dad said they broke it, but I think they just dislocated it and put me in a cast. I also had something called hyperjaundice. I'm a negative blood type, and my blood type did not mix with my mother's, from what I understand. And so I was having toxins build up in my body, and they did a full blood transfusion. My dad talks about, he said, your poor little heels, they kept testing your blood, and they were all swollen and bruised, and then they took off my belly button and literally siphoned out my own blood and gave me someone else's, and siphoned out my own blood and gave me someone else's. And I always thought it was interesting. There's a few jokes in my close circles about that I do the work of three men. And it's often maybe because I was given the blood of three men. I don't know if that's true, but that's a good joke. And as a negative blood type, it's especially interesting to me, if anybody studies in those circles, that I was infused with the DNA of multiple other negative blood types. And what that maybe did to my body, I think it's a big question mark right now. But if you ever see me with my whole family, it's like everybody looks related, and then I'm kind of like totally different. Not totally. And then I was put in an incubator under UV lights with a blindfold on for 2 weeks. I was only touched when I was fed. And it's interesting because even right now, I'm tearing up just thinking about it, about what that must have been like to be a young baby and to be inside of a machine blindfolded. And I do still find lots of comfort in food. And I wonder if that's why. So needless to say, it was a traumatic birth experience, leading into a pretty charmed young life. My parents say that I was like walking and talking and dancing at 9 months old. I don't know how true that is, but I do know they taught me some German songs, and I was the firstborn, so my parents would take me to like the bar at the Asian restaurant and hang out. And I grew up in a really beautiful place out in nature, where I became like obsessed with the people that had homesteaded on that land that had become like a wooded suburb outside of DC where I grew up. So I did a lot of research and like archaeology and going to the graveyard and studying the people of the land and eating wild food and getting in trouble for it. But somehow I knew that it was okay to eat the mulberries and the boysenberries and the wild strawberries. Kind of a wild child. I was more interested in like my neighbors who were gardening and than any of the kind of indoor stuff. I have a brother and a sister, Marjorie and Pat. Love you guys. And we grew up playing outside. It was really nice. My mom and dad threw costume parties and dance parties and block parties, and for those of you that know me now, you know where I get it from. And then around age 11, and probably a few years before that, things got really tough. My parents were fighting pretty much nonstop, and I was the oldest, so I was right in the middle of it, trying to stop it, trying to control it, trying to understand it. I would like sleep on the stairs listening to them and being really worried about what was going to happen if I was going to have to move. And that's pretty much when the PTSD started. And I should have known better than to talk about this with the Scorpio full moon. I was planning on sharing I wasn't planning on crying. So, yeah, my parents were fighting a lot. My mom and dad, both of them, really, really physical and screaming and getting the police involved, and lots of rumors and lies. And at one point my mom swooped me up. I was walking in the woods and took me to her friend's house, and then my dad came with the police, and I was basically kidnapped, and my sister ran to my dad and she got to go home, and I was stuck at this other person's house, and I had to wear the same clothes to school the next day. And the girls I grew up with were really mean. I still have trauma around dancing, which I'm a professional dancer now, but the dance team girls specifically were really mean to me during that time. I was put on mega doses of Ritalin around that same time frame, and was on Ritalin for 17 plus years. They were giving me 3 20 milligram tablets a day. So I was basically on speed all the time, and I would like clean my room and organize everything and do all this stuff and stay up super late and then have to get up super early, and I was only sleeping a few hours a day, and I would go on these runs and then I would get really, really sick. So I was also on allergy shots twice a week. I was over exercising and under eating, and I was on like Claritin D and all these pills. I was on like 20 pills every morning, and I was just really sick. I was struggling at that time. I also was doing okay. You know, I found this youth group that I really liked and went to some church camps, and I was studying the Bible and singing songs and enjoying that part of my life. But I was definitely in this crazy space of not really knowing who I was, like definitely dealing with some major trauma, trying to figure out how to be loved and how to be liked. At one point when I was about 15, I got myself in a bad situation, and you know, I didn't admit it for very long, but my first sexual experience was rape. I also had an orgasm, so that's something I've never shared publicly, and I guess there's no going back right now with Facebook Live, but it's something that I've been called to share. And something that my coach actually said recently was sometimes, not always, but sometimes people who have sexual trauma will present later in life with shame around feeling good. Because if they did have an experience like I did, where they had some pleasure out of their trauma, then it can develop into this like shame around feeling good. And for those of you that are here for the yoga, we'll get to that. This is way longer than I intended. And so that is something that has been really present for me in the past year, in the past few days, especially through this coaching program. I'm going to skip, I guess I won't skip it, but after that I left everyone I knew and moved to Colorado and went to school in mountains at Western State College, and snowboarded 5 days a week and partied 7 days a week, and drove to Denver twice a month to go to like huge 6,000 person raves. Started using substances that made me feel really good, and I thought I was doing great. I quit smoking at age 20. I did smoke for 8 years, so I started very young and really identified with that kind of being a bad girl of the good girls group. And then when I graduated from college, I packed up my car with the intention of moving back to DC, made it to Denver, and cashed in the U-Haul, got an apartment, and started my life in Denver. I worked in the corporate world, restaurants and hotels and catering and sales for 5 years. And then I couldn't do that anymore. I quit, became a nanny for 5 years, which I've actually done for 27 years. So I was doing this the whole time from age 12 until now. I'm still nannying. But I just nannied for 5 years, and I was able to work 3 hours a day, more in the summer, and get overtime, and basically just mountain biked and snowboarded and did yoga. And I really found myself during that time. I had a couple of different relationships where I got to move in with a man and live in a house and have a garden and have a bunch of pets and have that experience. And each time I chose to leave those situations. It wasn't exactly what I wanted, and I'm not someone that's going to settle. And at age 29, that was when I first started mountain biking and discovered downhill mountain biking, and I became a downhill mountain bike racer. I spent 5 years racing downhill mountain bikes. My race was the jump run. It's like 40 jumps in 3 minutes, something like that, and decided to retire when I was undefeated, and when my brother shattered his leg, and when my mom got sick with cancer, and I sold my bikes. And then that was just, I had been doing pretty good for 10 years prior to that, and then when my mom got sick, it was like all of this PTSD started coming back up, this not feeling safe. Right before that, I had another traumatic experience where a man actually got me pregnant on purpose because he thought I had good genetics. After I told him no for over 2 years, that I just wasn't interested in any kind of relationship with him, physical, anything. And basically since then, so for the past 6 years, I've been living in this strange space where I know that I have this trauma, and I know that I have some sort of complex PTSD, but I haven't had the tools to deal with it. And so that's kind of my story up until now. And then I found this new technique of reprogramming the subconscious mind through very specific languaging. And so in my coaching call yesterday, I was just so sad. Everybody was doing great. Everyone was talking about how much their life has changed. And I'm just sitting here thinking, there were times when I felt really good. I also quit a 20-year coffee habit and a 20-year cannabis habit in the past 6 months, and I realized how much I just was high on that. And so I was really missing that sensation of like, snowboarding used to be fun. Like, what happened? And my coach called me out in front of the whole group, and he doesn't let me go into story like this. There's no backstory. It's just like, where are you at and where are you going from here? And he had me say, I love my joyful life. He had me say, I love being high on life. And with this technique, you say it over and over and over and over again until you really feel it. And it goes back to that original trauma of being raped when I was 15 years old, and literally having shame around feeling joy. Like, for those of you that know me, you maybe get a taste of it. Like, if I'm in a big party experience, I can kind of hold that container. But in one-on-one, it's like, I almost notice if everybody's laughing and having a good time, I kind of shut down. It's like if something good happens to me, I worry about it getting taken away. It's just been this crazy experience. And so I really appreciate you guys listening to my story. Like I said, I was not intending to go this in depth, but this is where I'm at right now. Up until now, that has been my life. Now I have these new tools. It's kind of crazy how simple it is until you do it. Like when he had me say, I love my joyful life, I literally could not stop crying. I love being high on life. I'm just like waterworks. But after doing the practice until I really felt it, I found myself last night watching the sunset, watching the moon rise, eating linden flowers off the trees, thinking, I love my joyful life. I literally feel high on life right now. I feel exactly like I did when I've been with all different substances or different people or different spaces that feel more. Now I feel like I have that more in the now. So, thank you for sticking with me through that long-winded lead in to the yoga class. And what I would like for you guys to do as an intention is to just close your eyes and see the story of your life up until now flash before your eyes? Are there any traumas or dramas? I'm sure we all have them. If you were to tell the story of your life and you were going to focus on the thing that's been holding you back, for me, it really has been my resistance to feeling good, my shame around feeling good. If there's something that maybe has been holding you back for your whole life up until now, if you were going to tell your life story, what would be those points where you would tear up, those trauma points? And then rewrite the story. Literally think of a phrase that you can say that is going to be, I call it the antidote affirmation. So think of the antidote affirmation to whatever your trauma or drama has been. And let that be your intention for class today. Up until now, I had shame around feeling good. I was more comfortable being uncomfortable. But now, I love my joyful life. I love feeling high on life. I love being silly and weird. For those of you that know me, I'm actually pretty serious. But I'm changing that story right now. It's like yesterday, I had only been on this planet for 38 years. Today it's 39. I'm starting fresh. And so I invite you to have that be your intention for the class today. And let me know what your antidote thoughts are. If you want to write it in just a simple sentence structure, it's up until now. And then I shifted. And now, and make sure you have a feeling word in there. Like, I love my joyful life. I love feeling high on life. Love's an easy one, but you can be like, I'm ecstatic about my life, right? And so that's mine. Please share with me yours. And for those of you that are here for the yoga, we're going to get started. I appreciate you taking the extra time to listen. And if anybody has any questions, comments, if you've been through some similar experience and would like to connect, if you're interested in this style of coaching and would like some support, please let me know. All right, so let's go ahead and start in your comfortable seat. Roll the shoulders up and back and down. Close the eyes. And just begin to breathe. In through the nose. And out through the mouth. Keep taking deep breaths. Every exhale, just think about emptying yourself out completely. Everything up until now, breathe it out, let it go. You might start to see a color or a texture to the breath, like smoke, leaving your body not just through the mouth, but through the sides and the back body. It's like you're off-gassing. Any trauma or drama up until now, let it go. 2 more deep breaths. Last one. And just visualize all of that smoke, all of that trauma or drama, just totally exiting your space. You can start to feel your energetic field expand to push it out of the room that you're in, out of the building that you're in, carried off by the wind. And allow yourself to be an empty vessel for just a moment. brand new, unborn, pure potential, clean slate. An empty vessel. And now choose what you will fill up with. I am statements with an emotion, the antidote affirmation to whatever gunk or junk you had in there before. Think it in your mind. If you can, say it out loud. Up until now, I was scared to share my truth. Now I know my truth is my greatest strength. I feel powerful sharing my vulnerable truth. I am powerful. So as I model these affirmations for you, make them your own. And once you have visually filled up, like tossing stones into an empty vase with water in it, and it starts to fill up and look so beautiful, filling up with your antidote affirmations. And once you have, please bring the palms to press together at heart center. We'll begin the practice with 2 cleansing breaths and 1 Om in through the nose and out through the mouth. This time sigh. This time Om. With the eyes closed, rub the hands together, create some heat and some friction with the hands, and place the hands over the eyes. Allow that heat to soften your face. Smile, letting yourself feel good right now. And when you're ready, flutter the eyes open and float the hands down. Let's come into the tabletop position. I'll probably move pretty quickly here since I spent a little extra time talking this morning. So tabletop position, start to move through some cow poses and cat. Just gently waking up the spine. Yay, my dad's watching. Hey, Dad. Let's do 2 more. Last one. And come on back to center. Reach back, tuck the right toes under, and press through that right heel. For those of you that are just joining, I shared my life story before the yoga portion. Now we're getting into the yoga. Feel free to jump in at any time. And then once you feel that strength, press down into the hands, lift the left knee up. Take a couple deep breaths here. And release. All right, right heel lifts. Get strong and long through the spine. And when you're ready, left arm reaches straight ahead. Take a nice deep breath here. And on an exhale, round forward, knee to the nose. Inhale, reach it out. And exhale, squeeze it in. Last one, big inhale. And and exhale. Let's inhale through a full extension and exhale, release to the tabletop position. Second side, straighten that left leg, curl the left toes under, press out through the left heel. And when you're ready, right knee into the chest. Take a couple deep breaths. And release. And left leg reaches, right arm reaches. Big inhale here. And exhale, hug it in. Let's do a couple more. Inhale, reach. And exhale, squeeze. 2 more. Last one. Inhale through the full extension. And exhale, release. Please find child's pose. Come on up onto the fingertips here so that you can start to activate through the arms. Forehead releases to the earth. Deep breaths. Couple more. Last one. Release the hands, inhale up through tabletop. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Pedal it out here. Press 1 heel at a time towards the earth. Exaggerate this motion as you bend the knees and shift the hips. Wake up the hips, the back body, the lower body. 2 more deep breaths. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Walk the feet towards the hands for ragdoll. Grab opposite biceps, let the head hang. Sway side to side. Shake the head yes and no. Open and close the jaw. Sigh it out. 2 more deep breaths. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Release the hands, squeeze the inner thighs, inhale up to a halfway lift. Exhale, dive deep. Again, inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, dive deep. This time, reverse your swan dive all the way up. And on an exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep it up, touch the palms overhead. Exhale, open the heart. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, high plank position. You're welcome to move through a vinyasa if that's within your practice. Otherwise, come right to downward facing dog. A vinyasa is lowering halfway down, pressing up through up dog, and rolling over the toes through downward facing dog. So I'll give you that option. I'm moving pretty quick today because I talked a little bit longer than I usually do in the beginning. All right, from here. Inhale, right leg reaches. Exhale, step the foot between the hands. We're going to do a nice flow here. So starting in this high lunge, you can lower the back knee, but I'm going to keep my back knee lifted. Big inhale. Exhale, walk the hands back, straighten the left leg, folding for pyramid pose. So inhale, forward, low lunge. If you have yoga blocks, you can have them in your hands. Exhale, shift it back, pyramid. 2 more big inhales. And exhale. Last one, inhale forward. And exhale, send it back. Beautiful. Inhale forward into low lunge and walk the hands inside the right leg. So here you are in Skandasana. This is a side lunge. This is a little bit trickier to demo. I gotta get the right angle. So that left foot is rooted down into the earth. The right foot is as well. Right toes point towards the front corner edge of the mat. And when you're ready, walking through the center, Skandasana, side lunge in the other direction. So the hands are on the inside of the left leg, rooting into the feet. All right, so you'll be facing the back of your mat when you then walk around the left knee, straighten the right leg. Here we are in our high lunge. Big inhale. And exhale, bring it back, fold over that left leg. Inhale forward. And exhale back. 2 more. Big inhale. And exhale. Last one. Inhale forward. And exhale, bring it back. Inhale forward, low lunge. Walk your hands to the inside of the left leg. Turn your right toes to the corner edge of the mat. Skandasana, breathe. And walk your hands through the center, over to the right side. Take a breath. Walking around that right knee in that high lunge. Plant the hands, step back, going right to downward facing dog or flow through vinyasa. And meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale, bend the knees and look at the hands. Exhale, top of the mat. Inhale up to a halfway lift. Exhale, dive deep, forward fold. Inhale, reverse the swan dive all the way up. And exhale, hands to the heart. Take a moment to come back to your intention, to come back to your antidote affirmation. Say it in your head, say it out loud. All right, when you're ready, inhale, reach it up. Exhale, open the heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale up to a halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. You're welcome to come to downward facing dog or find your flow. From downward facing dog, inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it through. Squeeze the inner thighs and come on up into crescent. Soften the back knee so that you can tuck the tailbone and engage the glutes. Make sure the left knee is directly over that left ankle. Get strong, get steady here. 2 more deep breaths. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Inhale, come up onto the tippy toe in the back, reach the fingers up. Exhale, blossom open, warrior 2. We're not going to be here for too long, just take a breath cycle. And inhale up to 5-pointed star, toes to the corner edges of the mat. And on an exhale, find horse. Hold steady here. You can rock back and forth, maybe take a little bounce. And breathe. Lifting the left heel. Drop it down. Lift the right heel. Drop it down. Inhale up, 5-pointed star. Drop the heels. Exhale, come on down halfway to Prasarita Dandasana. So the feet are parallel with the short edges of the mat. Belly hugged in. Micro bend in the knees. Big inhale. And exhale. Forward fold. Breathe here. You can rock a little bit side to side if that feels good to you. 2 more deep breaths. Last one. Soften the knees, come on up halfway. And on your inhale, come on up all the way. Drop the left heel, turn the right toes, warrior 2 to the back. Hold for a breath cycle. Rotating onto that back heel or back toe, find your crescent pose to the back of the mat. Soften the back knee, stack the right knee over the right ankle. Find a little bounce, stabilize the pelvis, breathe. 2 more deep breaths. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Inhale here. Exhale, float the hands down. Move through vinyasa if you choose. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Take a sigh here. All right, inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it through. Inhale up through crescent. 3 deep breaths. Two. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Inhale up, 5-pointed star, second side this time. Exhale, drop the heels. Come on down, Prasarita Dandasana. Wide-legged forward fold. You can shift the hips side to side if that feels good to you. 2 more deep breaths. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hold. Inhale up, 5-pointed star. I didn't forget, let's drop it down into horse. Get steady here, get strong through the legs. From horse, bring the hands down to the inner thighs. Thumbs on the inside, arms stay straight. As you tip the body forward, let the shoulders come into the ears as you bring the weight into straight arms. This is one of the only times in yoga where we let those shoulders crunch in. It's a nice stretch here. Inhale up. Exhale, drop the left shoulder, look over the right shoulder. Inhale up through center. Exhale, drop the right shoulder, look over to the left. Let's do 1 more each side. Big inhale. And exhale. Last one, inhale here. And exhale, drop it over. Inhale up, 5-pointed star. Exhale, drop the left heel, turn the right toes. Warrior 2, now back to the front of your mat. Take a breath cycle here. And rotating onto the left toes, sweep the arms up, bend deep into the right knee. Crescent pose to the front of the room for 3. 2. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Inhale here. Exhale, float the hands down, step back. Make your way through down dog. If you're doing vinyasas today, feel free. And find your way into child's pose. Knees wide, big toes touch. Drop the hips to the heels, release the forehead to the earth. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Let's do 2 more. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Inhale up through tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bend the knees and look at the hands. And on an exhale, hop through to seated. So we're going to get a little bit stretchy here today. We kind of did a real quick flow to get the body warmed up. And now we're going to come into some more options for some deep stretches. So find yourself sitting on the earth. Sit up nice and tall. Just going to do easy forward fold flow. Big inhale. And exhale. Sweep the arms back and up and around. Inhale up. And exhale, fold. Couple more. Last one. Fold and hold. You can point and flex the feet, circle the feet in one direction and the other. And slowly start to come on up. Let's bring the feet wide. So this is going to be similar to what we were doing in our flow, the wide-legged forward fold. And I just want you to feel the difference when you're sitting down, because there's different ways to approach the same sensation in the body, just like with trauma, just like with intentions, different approaches to get to the same place. So go ahead and rock and roll the hips and the pelvis forward and back. And then allow your belly button to face the earth as you bring the hands forward. So have the feet either pointed or flexed. It's up to you, but lots of energy through the feet. And slowly let yourself come down just as far as is comfortable for you. So notice which variation of this pose is more intense. The standing variation or this forward fold variation here on the earth. Just notice. You might notice I'm swaying side to side. That's one of my favorite ways to settle into any pose, really. Let's do 2 more deep breaths. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. And slowly start to come all the way up. Bring the soles of the feet together. Knees wide. Draw the heels towards the body. Grab a hold of the ankles as you allow the feet to open up like a book. And really sit up tall as you squeeze the shoulder blades to press the heart forward. Big inhale. And exhale, bend the elbows, draw the heart towards the feet. Inhale here. And exhale, press down into the knees, let the feet open, let the hips open. Couple more deep breaths. Two more. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. And slowly start to come on up. Bring the right knee in and slide the left foot under, right leg over, sitting up nice and tall. It's interesting, a lot of these poses I typically do at the beginning of a yoga class, but today, since I kind of talked for a little bit longer, I decided to get into the flow, get our heartbeat moving, get our body temperature up, and I'm finding it a lot easier to actually come into these poses after that warm-up. So life really is a grand experiment. All right, from here, left arm wraps around right knee, sit up nice and tall. Gaze over the right shoulder. Bring the eyes in the corners of their sockets. You can stay here if you're looking for more. Inhale, right arm reaches. And exhale, bring the right hand back behind you. You can stay here if you'd like more. Inhale, left arm reaches. Exhale, hook the left arm on the outside of the right leg. Deepen into the twist and breathe for 3, 2. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. And slowly unwind. You can simply just shift the feet, or you can follow along with me. Bring the hands to the left side. And as you lift the hips, you're going to roll on the right heel and the left toes. When you're facing the back, switch to the left heel, right toes. Walk the hands around the left foot and sit down facing the front once again. So from here, take a minute to land. Ideally, that left foot is flat on the ground. And reaching the right arm around the left knee. Sit up tall and hug the knee in. Gaze back over that left shoulder. You can hold steady here if you're looking for more. Inhale, left arm reaches. And exhale, bring the left hand back behind you. Deep breaths here. Hold steady here if you're looking for more. Inhale, right arm reaches and hook the right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Sitting up tall, deep into the twist, and breathe for 3, 2. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. And slowly unwind. Unwind the legs. Give them a nice shake. Scooch towards the front of the mat. And roll all the way down onto the back. Going a little bit deeper into the hips. Figure 4 position. Inhale, right leg reaches. Exhale, right ankle on the left knee. Stabilize the pelvis, hug the belly in, and reach through and grab a hold of the right hamstring. Draw the right knee towards you as you gently press, left knee towards you as the right knee moves away. Couple of deep breaths here. Point or flex the feet, yogi's choice. Two more deep breaths. Last one. All right, when you're ready, release the left foot. Keep the right foot where it is. And roll onto the left hip until the right foot is flat on the earth. This one's for you, Leah. She asked me about fire log pose. So this is one of my favorite ways to open up the hips if that one's tough for you. So left hand comes to the right ankle as you draw the right ankle towards the left hip crease. Left leg is still bent. And then start to open the right arm off to the right. It can be straight open, palm face up, or cactus or fill-goal arms. Now you'll probably be feeling this already, but there's a couple of little tweaks that you can do to get even deeper into this. One is to drop the right hip down, and the other is to press the right knee away. So this is really going to open up these high places on the hip, the medius, the minimus. Breathe for 5. 4. 3. 2. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. And when you're ready, slowly rolling back up through center. Release the right leg. Bring the feet as wide as the mat. And we'll windshield wiper the knees to the right. Inhale up through center. Exhale left. And just notice how one leg feels different than the other. Inhale up. Exhale over. Inhale up. And exhale over. Alright, second side. So bring the feet hip width distance apart. Inhale, left leg reaches. Exhale, left ankle on the right leg. Stabilize the pelvis, hug the belly in, and reach through, grab a hold of the right hamstring. Release the head and shoulders. So toes pointed or flexed. Draw the right knee in as the left knee pushes away. You can even use the left elbow to push that left knee away. Breathe right into the stretch for 4. 3. 2. 1. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Release the right foot. Alright, so keeping the left foot where it is. Roll onto the right hip until the left foot is flat on the ground. Use the right hand to grab a hold of the left ankle and draw the left ankle towards your right hip. From there, drop the left hip down and open up the left knee. So left hip down, left knee moves away. That left arm can open to a T or cactus or fill-goal arms. Feel the stretch high up in that hip for 5. 4. 3. 2. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. And slowly come back up to center. Unwind the feet. Bring the feet the width of the mat. Take a nice deep breath. And on an exhale, drop the knees to the left. Inhale up through center. And exhale, drop the knees to the right. This time we're going to hold. Inhale up through center. Exhale, knees to the left. Hold here. So press the right knee down as you squeeze the right glute just gently. If you'd like, you can place the left foot on top of the right knee. You can also reach the right arm back behind you. Feel a stretch from the right knee through the right quad, the hip, the psoas, all the way out through the right fingertips and breathe for 3, 2, last one. When you're ready, slowly unwind the left foot. Come back up through center. Take a nice deep breath. And on an exhale, drop the knees to the right. Press the left knee down, squeeze the left glute. And if you choose, right ankle on the left knee. Reaching the left arm straight back. Stretch from the left knee through the quadricep, the hip, the psoas, all the way out through the left fingertips for 5. 4. 3. 2. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Slowly unwind. Bring the feet as wide as the mat and let the knees knock together. So the heels can be as close to the buttocks and as wide as you would like, as long as the knees stay touching. For some of you, you'll be up here. For others of you, you may be here. There's a few people I've seen who are able to bring their knees all the way to the earth. 3 deep breaths. 2. Last one. So heel the feet together and bring the knees wide for Supta Baddha Konasana. Hands can be palm face up by the hips. A couple of deep breaths here. If you're like me and you have one knee that's a little higher than the other, you can even place your hand gently on that leg just for some added weight. Don't try too hard here though. This is intended to be a passive stretch for 5. 4. 3. 2. Last one. Use the hands on the outsides of the knees to press the knees together and extend the legs down below you for final Shavasana. Allow yourself to get any last wiggles and jiggles out of the way. Allow yourself to fully surrender for these last 5 minutes of class. And really come into that mental space of, up until now, how has your subconscious been operating from trauma or drama? And see this class, this moment, this breath, as a turning point. Allow yourself to formulate as many antidote affirmations as you require. Think them, speak them as an I am. Add in an emotion, enthusiasm, love. I am filled with joy for my life. I love my joyful life. I am joyful. Tapping in, tuning in with your own antidote affirmations and loving this practice. We don't forget our past, our traumas and dramas. We don't ignore it. I don't keep it a secret anymore. I claim it. I own it. And I thank all the trauma and drama for showing me who I really am. I appreciate the contrast. I let it go. And I choose to be from unborn to newborn in this moment. Starting fresh. Fresh eyes, fresh ears, fresh taste and touch like a newborn baby entering the world for the first time, this time with so much love and support, wisdom, curiosity, joy, enthusiasm, and choosing these new choices every day when you wake up, not just on a birthday, but every day, being born anew and choosing how you wish to feel, choosing how you feel. I choose how I feel every day. And when you're ready, start to deepen the breath, integrating everything into the body, mind, and spirit as you wiggle the fingers and the toes, the wrists and the ankles, move the head from side to side, and reach the arms up overhead. Take a nice full body stretch. And on an exhale, soften. Bend one knee at a time. Bring the feet to the mat below you. Roll through the fetal position. Really curl up into a ball here. Feel yourself in the fetal position, that unborn, the warmth of being held by the mother. In this case, the Mother Earth, as she holds you in this moment. Feel so safe and so supported. As you gently start to press yourself up, find your comfortable seat. Bring the palms to press together at heart center. Feeling newborn, fresh, alive, excited, ecstatic, enthusiastic about your day, about your new life today, about this practice that you can do every day. And sealing our practice with 2 cleansing breaths and 1 Om in through the nose and out through the mouth. This time, sigh. This time, Om. Thumbs to the heart, lips, and forehead. Remind us to keep these antidote affirmations, to keep them and use them as a tool in our hearts, in our words, and in our thoughts. That newborn excited, joyful, playful child within me honors and supports the newborn, excited, playful, joyful child within each of you. Namaste. For those of you that stuck with me through the whole class, thank you so much. Up until now, I would have been a little bit embarrassed about how much I overshared in the beginning of class. But in this moment, I choose my vulnerability as a strength. And I know that there's someone out there that benefited from my sharing. So thank you for those of you that came for yoga and listened to the whole spiel in the beginning. Thank you for those of you that listened to the spiel in the beginning and stayed for the yoga. I graciously accept and receive any Venmo or PayPal contributions that you're able to make, any blessings, prayers, or shout outs. I've been toying with posting my Amazon wish list for my birthday for a bunch of books that I need to get for this coaching course. So if anybody's interested in supporting in that way, let me know. Yeah, and please reach out. If any of my sharing landed for you, I'm deeply called to connect more, especially with women and men who have been through some of the same stuff. And if you feel called to learn more about this kind of antidote affirmations and the coaching and how this is working for me and how it can work for you, reach out about that too. Otherwise, I will see you all on Monday, 9 a.m. Colorado time for yoga, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I also have some restorative classes that I am not doing on Facebook Live. So if you're curious about those, send me a message and I'll get you linked in on Zoom. And I love you so much. Namaste.